Everybody, thank you so much for coming. Happy Earth Day 2019. My name is Jen Pinkett, and I work for the City of Fargo at the Solid Waste Department. My title there is Recycling Coordinator, so we oversee all the recycling that happens in Fargo through our residential programs, commercial businesses, schools, and working to bring multifamily dwellings on board with our new all-in-one program. So, long story short, that's what we're doing. A couple things that we have going on in the City of Fargo at my department for Earth Day is lots of presentations this week to different school groups and other community groups, so that's keeping me busy. We are going to plant succulents with the 5th graders at Washington Elementary later this week and talk about why plants are important and how to take care of them and what they can do for us. And then we also hosted, along with MinnKota Recycling, a poster contest at Jefferson Elementary. We started that program last year. This is our winning poster, and the mayor and I are set to have lunch on Friday with the winning class. We're doing pizza with them, so we just kind of do this to help get the word out, and then the winning poster is on 2 billboards on Main Avenue for the month of April, so that's exciting for the winning student and their family, and it's kind of a fun, easy thing that we've been doing. Next, I would like to thank the Kilbourne Group for hosting us and allowing us to use this space up here today, so thank you so much for that. And then I would welcome Mike Almendinger to come up with the Kilbourne Group and say a few words.
Hello, my name is Mike Almendinger. Welcome, everyone. Happy Earth Day, and welcome to the lovely Loretta Building here on Broadway. We are very excited to share a few highlights about this project when it went through a renovation, because it was a great example of how to reutilize an existing building and bring a project like this to this idea of how do buildings learn. This building was built in 1920s with the idea of being a furniture store on the first floor, and it was a warehouse on the 2nd and 3rd floor. And when Kilbourne Group purchased this building, the condition that it was in was much different than what you'll see today. You can see that it had a number of different owners, and it just did not have the repair and repairs that it needed and maintenance that it needed, throughout all of its years. And it was time for a reuse for this building. So the team worked hard together to think about what is the current day need for this project, this building in downtown Fargo. We had existing infrastructure, sidewalks, street, curb, gutter, everything was already in place, and we did not want to tear this building down. There are many buildings that have been torn down in downtown Fargo throughout the years. This example here would have been over 3,200 tons of debris brought to the landfill. It would have been over 320 truckloads of debris brought to the landfill if this would have been another one of the buildings torn down. So through a lot of renovation and the reuse, what we have today in this great building is that there used to be 2 businesses in this building, and now there's over 20. When we purchased the project, you could only utilize by code 1 floor, and now there's 5 floors that are accessible. And there's over 48,000 square feet of space that is now usable in our downtown that was in a historic building that was really underutilized. So, and today we have a great historic building, and we think it's one example of how to reuse existing infrastructure for the city. Reuse existing buildings is a really important part of how to be great for our environment. So thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Mike. I would invite our elected officials from Fargo, West Fargo, Dilworth, and Moorhead to join me up here and read the Earth Day proclamation, please. Also, Aldwin, our youngest recycler.
Good morning. Whereas the cities of Moorhead, Dilworth, Fargo, and West Fargo are committed to preserving our natural resources and recognize the importance of increasing community awareness of the vital role our citizens play in this endeavor, and
Whereas Earth Week is a time to come together as one community and celebrate the efforts of the young and old alike. We strive to keep our community clean, both for the benefit of today and for the generations to come.
And whereas during Earth Week and every week, we urge residents to learn green, live green by conserving natural resources by taking public transportation or carpooling, turning off the lights when you leave a room, weatherproofing your home, ensuring sprinklers are used sparingly. Let me continue on here.
Preserving natural resources by sharing your newspaper with a neighbor, participating in city recycling programs and other community events. Committed to closing the loop in the recycling process by buying recycled content products. Bernie?
Well, good morning.
Right here.
All right. Now, therefore, we, Jonathan Judd, Mayor of Moorhead, Chad Olson, Mayor of Dilworth, Tim Mahoney, Mayor of Fargo, and Bernie Dardis, Mayor of West Fargo, do hereby proclaim April 22nd through the 27th, 2019 as,
I think we all read down.
okay,
Oh boy.
in our,
As Earth Week.
Earth Week.
in our cities, and we encourage the citizens of Moorhead, Dilworth, Fargo, and West Fargo to take this opportunity to renew their commitment to learn green, live green, by preserving our earth and its natural resources, and by making every day Earth Day.
We officially proclaim.
Thank you so much. And Mayor Mahoney, if you'd like to start out.
Sure.
Thank you.
Good morning. We're each going to just talk about our individual communities and things that we do to help with Earth Day. We're joining hundreds of other mayors this week in celebration of Earth Day and have numerous events scheduled in the city of Fargo we are excited about. With the completion of our new city hall, we have integrated several energy efficiencies in our building, including LED lighting throughout the occupancy sensors, as well as daylight harvesting features. The ceiling tires contain post-consumer materials, and we chose a state-of-the-art mechanical system that allows us for optimal energy consumption. And in July of 2017, we introduced all-in-one recycling program and have seen our participation rate climb from approximately 65% to 85% of the households in our community. Along with the tonnages collected have increased from 1,200 tons per year to over 4,300 tons of recycled material. Last year, the total of 37,740 tons of material was diverted from our landfill for recycling, including curbside and dropside recyclables, metal and used appliances, concrete, wood waste, brush, tires, grass, and leaves. The landfill also has some interesting facts to share. Their glass collection system assists in the recovery of approximately 3,000 metric tons of methane from going into the atmosphere. It goes either to the broilers at Cargill or through our flare or to our generator. And the generator at the landfill burns landfill gas at the rate of 250 cubic feet per minute, which in turn creates enough electricity for 700 homes. So we are very much part of the recycling program in Green Earth, and we believe what we can do to make that work is important for our community. I think, Bernie, you're next. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. When I first got here this morning, I was visiting with Mary from MinnKota, and I was telling her that I was with two of my grandsons in Minneapolis this weekend, and we were talking about how my son was going to go and get some fertilizer, and my 6-year-old grandson started to tell us what type of fertilizer we had to get for the yard. And that's a tribute to our educational process in our schools for how they're influencing them. And my 4-year-old grandson started telling me about what they were going to do in preschool this week. This is in Woodbury, Minnesota, with regard to Earth Week and Earth Day today. And I think that that's a real tribute, and I thank the educators for that. The reason we're here today is for Alden, the young one, Commissioner Curry's son, is that we have to think about our future. And West Fargo is doing exactly like our our other neighbors to the east and of us. 4 years ago, our city took a progressive step and partnered with Waste Management to become the first city in our metro area to provide on a curbside single sort recycling. From the start of the program to now, the amount of materials recycled in the community has increased sevenfold to close to 3,500 tons of materials recycled alone in 2018. Beyond recycling, West Fargo has expanded its focus on sustainability in a variety of areas. For example, our downtown redevelopment program is utilizing existing infrastructure to support mixed use and more compact development that more efficiently utilizes existing resources and uses less land area, thereby preserving more of the land for future use. Well, it's like Mike talked about earlier about infill. Our community is also committed to doing that. Use the resources that we have available. Comprehensive plan sets forth an implementation strategy of increasing the city's free canopy. Last year, the city of West Fargo installed 2 community orchards and plans to install more. We are also pursuing tree planting grants to add trees to boulevards and throughout the city. One of the most exciting developments in West Fargo this year was the announcement by our school district that West Fargo will be home to the state of North Dakota's first electric school bus. This is a zero emissions bus. Provides up to 120 miles of travel per charge on a 160 kilowatt battery. Anticipated to provide an annual savings of $2,500 in diesel costs and $1,800 in maintenance costs. With the great increases of our past initiatives, I'm excited for the city of West Fargo to continue pursue these innovative strategies to contribute to the environmental well-being of all of our communities. Thank you.
Next, I will introduce Sarah Watson Curry. She's a Moorhead City Council member.
Thank you. Good morning. Happy Earth Day. This is a really great opportunity for us to gather as neighbors and partners. As you guys know, sustainability doesn't happen in a vacuum, so it's great to be inspired about the efforts that are happening in our communities. I wanted to uplift some of the things that are happening in Moorhead. We, for a number of years, for about 2 years now, we participated in the Minnesota Green Steps Cities program. It's a voluntary challenge program that's issued through the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. And along with 126 other communities, we participate in this. We are already at step 2, and we anticipate that we will, they're being reviewed in the month of May, and we anticipate that we'll be at step 3. I think they'll pass with flying colors. So this program, it's a free program to continuously improve our public-private partnerships, and it focuses on 29 best practices in 5 areas, including building and lighting, land use, transportation, environmental management, and resilient economic and community development. So some things that have already been mentioned that are happening in this building in Fargo and West Fargo. So a few of the things that are tailored for our Minnesota cities that I want to highlight are the Minnesota B3 benchmarking. So right now they're working on data entry and monitoring of our wastewater, drinking water, and energy use for all of our city properties. The other item that they're highlighting is our Moorhead Public Service energy use. So the majority of our energy use right now is coming from hydro. We do have some come from coal and also from wind and solar as well. So our citizens are always excited to see those green initiatives and can participate in our Capture the Sun program with our solar garden. We also have a number of brownfield remediation and redevelopment projects that are going on. So current redevelopment projects that we have include the Simon Lofts and the Armory Lofts that are on Center Avenue. And a few other projects that are well known are our riverfront properties, the Grove Apartment, and Block E, which has just opened up recently. Of course, I want to touch on increasing active transportation and alternatives to single occupancy cars. So I got here by stroller today, which is a little bit spooky, but you can always throw your stroller onto the MAP bus. And eventually we're going to be getting our little one on a bike trailer. But riding public transit is a great, one of the most effective ways to lower your personal carbon footprint. Bus transit produces 33% less greenhouse gas emissions per passenger than the average mile of a private vehicle. There are a couple other, with the active transportation, our efforts, or the community's efforts of Streets Live and other active living campaigns, safe routes to school, and also creating a network of more complete and green streets that include the quality of life and add value to the surrounding properties as well. Also want to highlight that the Moorhead has a river corridor master plan, which includes the bikeways, trails, and bridges needed to fully connect our river corridor and to our neighboring communities. I also wanted to highlight that Moorhead is the home of one of the fast charging stations. So we have an electric vehicle, like a quick charge station that is in the Holiday Mall area. And it's located right on the interstate exit outside of a number of businesses and storefronts. So again, I want to thank our neighbors and our partners in these projects. And I also want to give a shout out to our staff. They're the front line to a lot of this work that is really unseen. So whether it's moving somebody for transportation or planting trees or taking away or recycling, a lot of these things are taken for granted and are kind of done pretty seamlessly, so I want to give them a shout out as well. So happy Earth Day to everyone, and I'll pass the mic back to Jen.
And last but not least, Peyton Mastera, the City of Dilworth City Administrator. Welcome.
Thank you, everyone. I'm here to talk about some of the recycling initiatives that we have going on in Dilworth. I guess to start out, how I want to frame this, who here took a car this morning and fastened their seatbelt? Hoping to see everyone raise their hand there because it is the law now. But the reason why we do it's a second, just kind of second nature now. We don't think anything about it, and that's what I believe recycling is becoming now. I thought Mayor Dardis had a beautiful illustration about his grandkids in their school and their initiatives that they're taking. And because I reflect back to when I was a kid, seat belts at the time were becoming a big thing. There's a lot of people who didn't buckle their seat belts. I would ride with my mom, never buckled my seat belt. I remember when it became a big initiative nationwide to begin buckling your seat belt. It was always a challenge for us. Every time she would challenge me, I would challenge her, and so forth. And then suddenly we didn't think anything about it anymore. And so that's how I'm hoping, that's how the City of Dilworth is hoping that the recycling initiative becomes, not only across our community and across the metro, but across the entire country. And that's where I think we're headed. A few months back, Miss Westgard, she's a middle school teacher with DGF Elementary, her students wanted to make a difference. And so they came and made a presentation to our city council about recycling initiatives, what we could be doing to improve our system here in town. They want to make a difference, and so they took that to heart, the council did. So we established an ad hoc committee, and to make a long story short, we're going through, and I'm sure you've seen the news, that we're going through we're going to join our metro neighbors in single sort recycling curbside initiative here in town. And Ms. Westgard's class has actually developed a plan by which they're going to go door to door. They're divvying up the town to educate the public on what can be placed in your containers, what can't be, how this program is going to be unveiled. So we're really excited to see the younger generation passing along these ideas and thoughts that they can pass along to generations there to come, and it's reflective in every day. And so it's a thrill to be on the front lines, seeing being able to work with individuals such as Ms. Westgard's class. And along with that, I think I'd be remiss as well as this is also, it was very impactful for the council to hear the message and to think about sustainability efforts. And along with the city of Moorhead, we too have just recently become a Green Step city, recognized in the state of Minnesota. And we're getting our paperwork in right now, so in the next month or two we should be up to a Green Step Level 2 city with hopeful Level 3 by this time next year. But we're really excited in the city of Dilworth in improving our environment, improving the community, and improving the metro as a whole. I think if we all work together with this will become a second nature thing like our seat belts, and it'll make the world a better place. Thank you.
Lori Van Beek from Matt Bus, the Moorhead Transit Manager, is also with us to share what they're doing for Earth Week.
Thank you. Morning. So starting today, you can get your can on the bus. So on Matt Bus, you can ride for free with an empty aluminum can all week through Saturday. We're inviting people to do that, to understand that we are a sustainable way of transportation, that a full bus takes 50 people out of their cars, and that's a 4-block long line of cars if those people were not taking the bus. And so we really want to make sure that people have an easy way to get on the bus this week and try it for their first time. I know there's some classrooms, Ben Franklin and other classrooms where they're going out on the bus and teaching the children how to ride, and so they can see what a benefit that is to the community. We were on Saturday at the Red River Zoo for the Party for the Planet, and that was lots of fun because, as so many people have pointed out, the children are our future when it comes to protecting the earth and taking care of our environment. So get your can on the bus. Oh, and the proceeds from that are going to the Homeward Animal Shelter.
Next, I would introduce Carissa Botten with Global Shapers. Carissa and I met kind of by accident. She had reached out to the Solid Waste Department to find out more about programs that we have in place, and she had brought some colleagues with, and now we've formed, I think, a great partnership. I'm going to speak at Microsoft at noon today for a lunch and learn. So, Carissa, if you'd like to join us and talk about Global Shapers.
So as Jen said, I'm Carissa Botten, and I am a technical account manager at Microsoft and also the curator for Global Shapers, and I have statements for both. So starting off at Microsoft, we have a worldwide community called Microsoft Sustainability Community, and I recently decided to make that a regional effort called Fargo Sustainability, which is an employee network that explores sustainable solutions to offset Microsoft Fargo's environmental footprint through systems change and employee education. So a huge reason why Jen is coming on campus today to help educate employees on how they can recycle in Fargo and answer some of those questions for individual habits. And so this Earth Day, we want to encourage all companies and businesses to take part in formalizing a grassroots group to tackle some of the same issues that we are at Microsoft Fargo. So those include, reducing dependence on one-time use disposable products, tracking and educating employees on consumption of disposable products, as well as educating them on the upstream and downstream impact of where those are from, implementing recycling programs, consulting with the City of Fargo or West Fargo, Dilworth, Moorhead to explore waste diversion opportunities, organizing service projects and cleaning up litter, advocating with your benefits provider for sustainable retirement funds, and exploring alternative transportation such as bike share or Matt Bus, and also investing in facilities optimization at your workplace. So these are just a few ideas and suggestions of how you can celebrate Earth Day wherever you work. And then, as far as Global Shapers, some of you might not have heard of that before. So born out of the World Economic Forum, the Global Shapers community is a network of inspiring young people that are under the age of 30 working together to address local, regional, and global challenges. With more than 7,000 members, the Global Shapers community spans 369 city-based hubs in 171 countries. In each city, teams of shapers self-organize to create projects that address the needs of their community. So the projects are wide-ranging, from responding to disasters and combating poverty to fighting climate change and building inclusive communities. Shapers are diverse in expertise, education, income, and race, but are united by their desire to bring about change. So climate change was named the #1 threat to the global economy, again in the World Economic Forum's Global Risk Report. It's clear that we need a new solution for people on the planet. That's why we're adding our voices to call for urgent action to protect climate, oceans, and biodiversity. By 2020, we can be a turning point, but we need everyone to be involved, including you. So you can get involved by going to voicefortheplanet.org and commit to take action locally. So ask your colleagues, family, and friends to do the same. And then also, we're encouraging people to host a watch party on the Netflix series Our Planet to raise awareness for climate action. And you can go to globalshapers.org to find a help sheet on how to get that started. And then to learn more about Global Shapers Fargo Hub, you can find us on Facebook or globalshapers.org. Thank you.
Someone else that I have invited to join us today is Jamie Zettel. She works for the Fargo VA hospital. She had reached out to me with some recycling questions, and we've made some huge strides in the recycling program at the VA. So, Jamie, if you want to come up and tell us about that. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jamie Zettel, and I serve as the Green Environmental Management System, or GEMS, Program Manager for the Fargo VA healthcare system. My position is dedicated to our environmental compliance, but also all of our sustainability efforts. We have a committee, a GEMS committee, that meets monthly, and we work very hard to increase our efficiency of energy, water, and other resource usage. Also to reduce our air emissions, utilize pollution prevention principles, increase our green purchasing, incorporate environmentally preferable practices for the design, construction, and operation of our buildings, and also just to ensure that we are great neighbors in our community. As Jen mentioned, about a year ago, I contacted her as our committee had set a goal to increase our recycling and reduce our waste. We had a recycling program, but we had a challenge of space availability in our building. In many departments, we didn't have container space for every single commodity. So I reached out to the city, and they helped us implement their all-in-one bin system. So now we were able to take one bin and put everything into that one container and provide those containers more efficiently throughout the entire facility. We relabeled our containers and provided education throughout the facility to all of our staff, and we were amazed at the response we received. Staff became excited. They challenged each other to find new opportunities to recycle items that they hadn't been able to previously. To date, our combined efforts have increased our recycling by 20%, and that number is still growing. We've learned that making our recycling program easy and also having those containers readily available was the key to increasing our participation and also our recycling volume. Thank you for letting me share that success story, and thank you, Jen, for your help. Happy Earth Day.
Thank you, Jamie. We have also invited Joe Burgum to join us today. Joe is a community builder and co-founder at Folkways. Thanks, Joe.
Morning, everyone. Great to be here with all of you, and happy Earth Day. I'm a co-founder of the Red River Market and one of the co-organizers as well. The Red River Market has a mission to create a space for all people to experience the joys of locally grown food. The Red River Market also strives to support small farms, emerging food businesses, increase access to locally grown produce, create a sense of place where all are welcomed, and finally, to be good stewards of the planet. One of our core programs at the Red River Market is our landfill-free initiative. Our goal at this free community event is that we can have a clear path for all waste that's produced on site and to drastically reduce the amount of waste that's sent to the landfill. We work closely with all of our vendors to reduce their needs for single-use plastics. We use renewable products such as paper cups and plates, reusable bottles, jars, and thermoses. By swimming upstream and working one-on-one with all of our vendors, we're able to learn their needs as a small business and help them look for options that brings their products to customers while reducing our footprint on the planet. Our landfill-free station is run by volunteers, which is a great learning opportunity for all that are involved. Volunteers assist and educate visitors, sorting their trash into the right waste streams. Education is a key component to reducing waste and shifting the habits that have been long ingrained. The simple act of separating a plastic lid from a paper cup can help to ensure that the paper products are as clean as possible for a local farmer to compost, and hopefully for a metro compost facility. The next time you go to the trash bin, take a pause and think about the items that you're throwing away. Is it a single-use plastic? Is it a renewable? Is there a way to avoid needing to use that product at all and avoid throwing it away next time? It takes us all slowing down and observing our waste in order to make a lasting and collective impact. We hope that this act at the Red River Market can help you see your waste differently. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. My counterpart on the other side of the river, Shannon Thompson, is also here. Turns out we're neighbors too. We live across the street from each other. So Shannon, if you want to come up and talk about your programs that you have going in Clay County.
Sure. Hi, I'm Shannon Thompson. I work for Clay County, so I'm on the other side of the river, but we're all part of one community. For Earth Week, we have our T-shirts. They were designed by Maggie Yabora. She is a student, an elementary student in Moorhead, and those are for sale through the end of this month. We also have our waste art exhibit at the Moorhead Library. Entries from arts and crafts made from the waste stream. And that's interesting to think about fabrics, lots of quilt entries some years. Other interesting art from barbed wire. It's not just arts and crafts for little kids. We've had some professional artists enter that contest with some really neat works. That runs this week through Friday at the Moorhead Library. And year-round, we encourage our residents to live sustainably. We can come out and Peyton already addressed Mrs. Westgard's class, thank you. In Dilworth, they were working with a project and they reached out. I was able to visit them. Mary Aldrich from MinnKota Recycling was able to visit with them. They presented to their city council and are an act of change in our community. So those opportunities we try to afford to our residents. And we also reach out to Red Hat groups, preschools, schools, anybody that'll have us come in. Lots of presentations this week and throughout the year. In Clay County, recycling is accessible to all of our residents through our city programs and our township programs. We are proud to provide our more rural residents with collections for hazardous waste and for electronics during their cleanup weeks. Cleanup week is coming. People need to be very careful with that. That's something we struggle with in our cities, in our area. Sorting out when we participate in cleanup week, is it something that could be reused instead of put on the curb? Is it something that should be recycled instead of put on the curb? So following Earth Week closely are the cleanup weeks, and let's reach out to our residents and work on the education piece with that also. Thanks.
Christine Holland with River Keepers is also with us today, and she has some exciting things to share, what kind of programs and things they're doing over there. Welcome.
Happy Earth Day. River Keepers' mission is to advocate for safe and sustainable use of the Red River. And this Earth Week, we encourage you to help us sustain the Red River by going out and marking storm drains to protect our drinking water source, and to make t-shirts into totes to help keep plastic bags out of the river. And once the river's gone down, we'll have lots of opportunities to pick up garbage and to help plant trees and shrubs along the Red River. So go to our Facebook page or riverkeepers.org to help figure out how you can best help us sustain the Red River so that the whole community can better enjoy it. Thank you.
Darla Lewandowski is also here with us. Darla works for Clay County, and we partnered on a project that we were calling just a plastic bag recycling challenge. Darla, do you want to come up here? So her being in Clay County, she worked with the Moorhead schools. I worked with Fargo and West Fargo schools. We presented the idea to them, to the fifth graders, to recycle as many plastic bags as you can. So we brought bins out to each school and then sent information home and sent cloth reusable bags home with each of the students. And then they were challenged to bring in all their extra plastic bags from home, place into those containers, and then Darla and I would go out to the schools once a week and empty all of those containers. All the bags were then brought over to Mary at MinnKota for recycling. And then, Darla, if you want to talk about like the prizes and
yeah,
stuff
so we
like that.
decided through this Trex program that we had done last year with the colleges to get a
plastic composite bench made with the school's name engraved onto it as the first place prize. We're also having a pizza party for the second place, and then Dairy Queen has donated some ice cream cakes for the third place prize as well.
And what we learned when we were out presenting to the fifth graders, that they don't care about the bench.
No.
They all want a pizza party.
Pizza's more important for the kids.
So maybe next year we're just going to do pizza
Yeah.
for the winners and skip the bench. But the bench is cool. It's made from 97% post-consumer products, and then it will have their school logo. And then the principal asked if it could say this bench was won by the class of 2019 or whatever. So trying to get that in and back to us in Fargo so we can present it to them before school gets out. So that was exciting. We had, I don't have the number right offhand, but something like 66,000 plastic bags.
Yeah, it was a crazy
were
amount.
collected.
Way more than we anticipated.
It started out slow and then it went crazy, and having to go like 2 times a week to empty the school bins. So a little bit more than we bargained for, but it worked
Yeah.
out. First year that we tried it, so probably do that again.
We've got some of the kinks worked out, so next year it'll run a little bit smoother.
That's about all that I have for that program. Mary, would you like to come and share?
So with that being said, one of the biggest issues that we deal with is remembering our bags. So we added it to, now we have 4 R's, which we don't need more, but my name is Mary Aldridge. I am the sales manager for MinnKota Recycling. And last year we recycled about 68 million pounds of material. And that continues to grow every single day, every single month. We're seeing additional material that's coming through the single stream recycling and of course commercial recycling, which is a large percentage of the volume that comes into our facility. So that being said, Earth Day is really every day, and we appreciate this localized effort from all of you, from the community leaders to the individual businesses, and everybody making their contribution to make this celebration sustainable. Because it starts here. It starts at home, and it starts with our local action and local businesses and our local culture. Each of us contribute to the impact that we have on the planet, which means we each can be a part of that solution as well with our daily choices. And we thank you for your contribution today. We thank the media for coming to share this message. It's extremely important that we continue to tell people the same thing, how important our environment is. It's the preservation of our natural resources. We can build buildings, but we can't replace our rivers and our waters and our streams. Those are the most critical things that we're facing today, and the most important areas that we need to pay attention to, because that is what's going to make a difference from this day to our future generation. So thanks again for coming, and please let us know if you have any other questions or concerns or would like to add anything to this presentation today. If you have an event, I know that the art exhibit is going on at the Moorhead Public Library through Friday. Great. Yeah, and that's an extraordinary exhibit of just things made from trash, correct? Yeah, so continue that. We're paying a premium price this week. It doesn't seem so premium because markets are a little volatile right now, so it's not what people are accustomed to seeing. But we're going to still see truckloads of material coming in because, as you had mentioned, people are getting this, and it's good to be a part of it. So thank you.
Okay, well, I think that about wraps up our press conference. Thanks so much to everybody for joining us and sharing all of your wonderful programs and stories. If you have any questions, I'll be here for a little while, but my next presentation is at noon at Microsoft, so I have to go regroup and get to South Fargo. So thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you. Nice job.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.